Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto Atlas. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and showing you guys just a little bit of an update on Orchid as well. This is going to be a shorter based video, but it's going to be filled with some good information. If you guys are new to the channel, well, welcome. Nice to meet you guys. Feel free to join the community and hit that subscribe button if you'd like. You guys can see we do have some goals up above my head here. The big goal, would love to try and hit 1,000 subscribers. For anybody that's returning, it's good to see you guys again. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well, what are you doing? You're watching all my videos. If we can get potentially 50 likes on this video, that'd be great, guys. And yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Definitely going to be a shorter video. Bitcoin's volatility hits 23-month low as the cryptocurrency shrugs off BitMEX Trump's illness. Bitcoin's 180-day volatility dropped to its lowest mark since November 2018, reaching a 23-month low of 0.028 on Sunday, as the market was mostly unfazed by a week of unsettling news. So we're going to scroll on down here. You take a look at the chart. You can see this big dip that took place around moving from December 2018 to January 2019. Well, what happened back then that was so volatile? Well, let's take a look. Take a look back then. That's when the Bitcoin price skyrocketed up to $20,000. Good news. Let's take a look at the next one. Next major section that you see takes place here was between May and to July of 2019. May, July 2019, starting in May right here, pushing up July. Guess what? Price went up. More good news. Still, let's keep taking a look at the other ones, right? And you see this price drop that started moving from October all the way through up to about March, and you could seeing that price drop right there. The price has actually shown a decline as well right along here, but then all of a sudden you can see that on the volatility, when it starts to skyrocket right up there, it's right at that point in time in March. Guess what? Taking a look over here in March, see that big price drop and then a massive increase in recovery. So extremely volatile. And then we have another big drop off that took place. And now we're touching this line as they were talking about, right? We haven't seen that for a long time. The fact that we're right at those levels, volatility should be expected at this point. It's the calm before the storm. There's been a lot of things that have been getting lined up. A lot of people have been talking about a $50,000 Bitcoin, about us hitting $20,000 again, about a $100,000 Bitcoin, $500,000 Bitcoin. I mean, as time goes by, Bitcoin is going to become more and more scarce. And a lot of people are going to be losing their wallets still. People are going to be passing away. They don't pass on their information. They forget their login information. So you have even more factors that comes into play. That means that it has that potential of continuing to go down. So definitely keep your eyes peeled for something like that. Okay, on to the next information. Now, we go ahead and take a look here. And you guys can see, let me go ahead and close that out. And as you guys can see, for Bitcoin on the daily, we're essentially in this consolidated space right now for this symmetrical triangle, and it could really go either direction. As of the moment, we are above the 21 EMA, which I love this bad boy right here. I love that, and I love a couple other key things like a Fibonacci retracement. We don't have that displayed at the moment, but as of right now, we are above the 21 EMA. We're actually pushing closer and closer to the level of resistance on the top end support. Not top end support, the level of resistance. Here's your support down here. I'm crossing over words now and I don't want to confuse you guys. So that's actually a good indication right now. We want to close out the daily above the 21 EMA. This has a bit of a wick pullback already that's going on. So just be a little bit cautious on that. Keep that in mind right there. But then we take a look at it on the 4 hourly, and you can see that we do have an ascending wedge pattern here, which there's an indication that it could be reversing. But if you take a look at a median based zone pulling through this, we are actually just slightly above the median point, and we're seeing some good movement push up here. It's actually making its way over towards that top level of resistance, and it's just kind of filling in that gap all the way along. To me, this is a good indication sign, although the fact that it is an ascending wedge pattern by its own nature isn't necessarily great where we're positioned as of the moment. So I would just keep an eye on that. If it starts pulling itself further down, then I think that once it breaks this level of support, that we could see it actually potentially dropping even further down and then filling into that space for that symmetrical triangle around the $10,500 level, and just essentially writing that out as time goes by. There's a lot of indications suggesting that Bitcoin has some good potential movement forward. Of course, there are some indications in the market about it going in the reverse. So that's why I have to kind of take everything on a day-by-day basis, just so you guys know. If you take a look at everything, it's all based on probability. And when new factors get thrown in, it changes the mechanics of how everything works. So if it was just based on this exact moment, and nothing new of information that was substantial on the opposite side was to push it that direction, then it would be very likely that it's going to continue playing out like this, right? It's all based on tendencies. So, oh, and by the way, I'm not a financial advisor. Just again, a little side disclaimer. You know, I think it's important I slide this into every video. Everyone else tends to do this. So yeah. Anyways, that's taking a look at it on the 4-hourly. That's taking a look at it on the daily. Now let's also go ahead and hop on over, and we're going to take a look over here on Orchid. And boy, I'm actually doing pretty darn good in my time. If we got a little bit extra time, I might show you guys some other stuff. But here we go, taking a look at this on the daily. This is for Orchid, aka OXT. For those of you guys that don't know, I covered this cryptocurrency a lot on this channel. And a big reason why I do is because I'm personally invested into it pretty heavily. And I invested into it personally because the project sounds really promising. It deals with VPNs, but you can use it on an individual case basis. You don't have to do monthly subscription fees. You got staking opportunities with the cryptocurrency. Their development is actually looking like it's got a whole other slew of different markets, such as nano payments that might be potential markets in the future here. And they're working alongside some really big player names from my understanding. So I'm very, very excited for this project, and the fact that there's not really any other competition for them. The VPN space is a growing industry. The amount of footprint space that they have so far in this industry space, and the fact that they're not a VPN, but they're utilizing these other ones and doing the hops, like it's crazy. And to me, this is a way undervalued cryptocurrency, and so I think it has so much promise, but anything can happen. And if you take a look at my previous videos on this, as much as I want this to go to the moon, guys, I'm trying to be totally transparent and honest, and you know, not just try and pump this thing just because. It's been showing a lot of bearish signs, and a lot of my previous videos, I'm saying it looks like it's more likely it's going to go down. And you know, I'm actually kind of proud to say this, but I've been right. It has been going down. Now, we take a look at it, and I got some good news I feel that I could share with you guys. It looks like there's a lot of indications that it's going to continue to rise. That level of resistance that's on the very top end side here that's been on this descending wedge pattern, well, guess what? We broke above it today. We do have a retracement back. Unfortunately, we are back with inside the wedge itself right now, but we are very close to that actual point. So we do need to break out through that. If we can maintain these levels, then we should see an actual breakout tomorrow. If it stays at this actual level, then for sure it would be tomorrow. If it drops back down to the previous 26 cent range, then we could see another couple days or so before it really makes a decision. And it could theoretically still fill within this descending wedge pattern and just slowly keep dropping down more and more. I think that is on the less likely case right now, but yeah, that is still something that is a potential. And if it breaks above, there's a couple of different indications here that I'm seeing that's pretty darn interesting. We take a look at the 4-hourly chart, and I got a couple things I want to show you. So if you take a look here, and I take a drawing of this to me actually looks, it's a bit slanted, but this looks like a pretty nice little head and shoulders pattern that's taking place, and it lines up very nicely with that top level of resistance as the actual neckline. So it is an inverted head and shoulder pattern. Did I say head and shoulder? Yeah, this is an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Anyways, you get my point. So you take a look at this right here, and we go ahead and draw a line from the top of the head pattern down to the neckline right there. And then let's say we just drew this right across here. Then we could, in theory, see levels pushing right around to the 30-cent range, just a little bit above 30-cent range, okay? So that's one, and I found that to be very interesting. But then we also go into another perspective view here. So now let's go ahead and delete our head and shoulders thing that we just did right there. And then you can see that on this new baseline on the 4-hourly chart and this line right going up across here, we have what looks to be an ascending broadening wedge, which is actually a bearish base pattern. However, with the movement of everything and it's pushing levels to the close to the top there, by its own nature, yes, this looks like it should have a further continuation down. With good news that's been going out on the markets lately, and you can see Bitcoin starting to make its rally up as well. We've been seeing a lot of correlation lately with Orchid with that as well. So there's outside factors that are playing out of just the standard norm. Remember, the patterns are not, this is exactly what's going to happen. But if the levels do push down further, then yeah, we could see a further continuation down. But what's really cool is that if you take a look here, we have an up, down, up kind of movement that's going on in the 4-hourly charts, right? So what we can take a look at right here is that at this point for its height, we draw a straight line across. And if you take the second point off of hitting that top level of resistance, essentially this forming as a low that came down, we can draw this line off of that top level straight across with, let me make sure that's actually straight. Let's get our levels set up here correctly. There we go. Looked a little bit cockeyed to me. We take that level right there, and then we can actually we can even use this one. It's just slightly lower. And on the breakout, if we have, let's say, over the next hour, a breakout, guess where that puts us? Ironically, that puts us right at the same range that we were seeing for the inverted head and shoulders pattern, right around 30 cents. So there's two different indications from what I'm looking at that gives good signs that we could be pushing back to around 30 cents here today. We might potentially be able to hit 30 cents back again today. As long as there's no big curveballs that's being thrown at us, I think this is a very highly probable move. And in doing so, that would actually put us also in line with the Fibonacci retracement. So there's three different indications for you. The 0.618 level, the volume you can see down here has been progressively low in comparison to its high form of volatility, and Bitcoin is at a low point with its volatility. If the volatility kicks up for Bitcoin, there's a very good chance a lot of altcoins could be rallying with it. We have altcoin seasons and stuff too, but when you take a look at this Bitcoin volatility chart, and they've been talking about it since back in 2018, moving up, right? 2017, 2018. Oh, I closed out that other tab. Anyways, yeah, the moving from the December 2017 into January 2018, if it does another rally like that, if the time has finally come and Bitcoin is going to just go ahead and make its move and it's going to go for that $20,000, this to me is an undervalued project. They've done a ton of stuff this year. They got a great development team, great application. They're working on furthering their speeds, continuing to adapt more, working with new partnership with Chainlink that just happened recently, right? So I would say be prepared, right? It's called first mover's advantage for a reason, guys. This has the potential. It could do great things. But as always, as an investor, make sure that you never invest more than what you're willing to risk if you lose it, correct? So be cautious. I'm optimistic at the moment, which is some great news because I've been so bearish lately on this. And I'm hoping that this maintains itself above that level and we just have a further continuation on. So yeah, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. If you're new to the channel, again, and you want to be a part of an awesome community, you can help us towards that 1,000 subscriber goal. Every single person counts, and I look forward to you guys leaving your comments down below. Whatever it is, if you want to say hi, if you want to talk about Bitcoin, you want to talk about Orchid, if there's another project that you think really should have more attention right now and you want to see me talk about it in the future, I've said this before, if enough of you guys request it, I'll be happy to take a look at it and make it more of a central point of focus in a future video. You guys are awesome. Please don't forget to hit that like button, and I will see you in the next episode.